Hello, boy.
Oh,
Are you an American
yes,
wandering the streets of Moscow, Russia?
yes,
Would you like to come do a video with me?
yes,
Is Russia a scary place?
no,
Are you sure?
yes.
All right, let's find out. Welcome to Expat American. I am the Expat American here with my American boy, Christoph, enjoying the cold November rain of Moscow, Russia. Behind us are the medieval gates to Red Square. We're going to go into Red Square right now, him and I, and explore this famous place, probably the most famous place in the world that you think you will never go to. Christoph, what is this?
It's a motorcycle.
It is, you're right. I can only imagine flying in this thing. Must be so noisy. And for me, it would be a little bit scary.
Уничтожали все, что могло помочь Красной Армии.
Christoph, what do you think?
It's good.
Dude, check out this car. And we got more vehicles all around us, more than we could probably see today. Here we are. Red Square is about 7.5 football fields, or so I've heard. A cobblestone rectangular space next to the Kremlin, which is the medieval fortress to protect Muscovites in the past. And what we're going to do today is go around Red Square and check out what borders this square, what makes it a square, what makes it a rectangle on this festival day. So I'll start off with a 360-degree turn to kind of tease you. What is that? It looks like a red castle. Looks like a red brick wall of some kind. Is that a church in the distance, perhaps? Some sort of stage? I see vehicles and I hear a loudspeaker. And what is this giant palace-looking beige thing behind me? And what are all those lights headed down a city walk? So, Christoph, what is this structure behind you?
It's a red castle.
A red castle right next to the medieval gates. It is currently the site of the State Historic Museum. And you can buy a ticket and go through there. And I did that with my wife about a decade ago, and I remember seeing lots of carriages, the type that Cinderella would ride in to go to the ball. And as we walk to our next spot, the next structure, in the middle of the square today, there's a festival with different things to see, and we're going to check out these things as we pass by. Looks like some old-fashioned vehicles of a certain color. Lots of people taking photos there.
I see it's together.
Yeah, so you can ride the motorcycle and you can carry stuff, or you can have a person sit next to you, like your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding about the girlfriend part.
There is a thing, I think, to get something.
What?
To get something.
I think it's a device to keep the country safe. All right, Christoph, we've come to our next structure. What is this giant thing behind you?
This is the Kremlin wall.
And what's it for?
For soldiers.
They'd keep the citizens of Moscow safe.
Yes.
So that would be for government officials and important buildings, and whenever the city would be in danger, all the people would go behind that wall. And to this day, it is used for government business. I wonder how old this thing is. Leave a comment if you know what make and model and age this vehicle is. I like this old-fashioned vehicle behind me with the wooden pickup. And check out this leisure vehicle right here with a turret on top. Looks like something fancy, but it's got armor plating.
This is a metal truck.
A medical truck.
Yeah, and there is more vehicles there.
Check it out, guys. It's an old-fashioned tow truck. Pardon the umbrellas everywhere, people. What can I say? People are afraid of water, even though they take a shower every day, probably. What's next? What's this brown pyramid behind you?
This is where the letting body is.
I actually went in there with your mom. It's like a beautiful, shiny, dark, I think a semi-underground room. I think it's black marble. And he's laying there in a nice glass coffin, and you can see him resting there. Aha! Check this out. This is what I really wanted to see. A biplane. So what do you think of this thing?
It's cool.
It looks like something Indiana Jones might fly in, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, look at the controls.
Oh, cool.
Fantastic.
There's.
Is it comfortable?
I
Probably not that comfortable.
don't know.
Russia has female pilots? Very cool. We're going further along the Kremlin wall here, and what is that behind you, young man, up into the clouds?
That is the clock tower.
Yes, the famous Kremlin clock tower that they use for counting down the new year and whatnot. Another plane, another pilot. This one's a male. If you are new here to this channel, I'm an American living here with my Russian wife and 5 kids for the past year and a half. We came here 8 days before the special military operation. So we're doing this channel to let the world know what Russia is really like, just for normal people, and what it would be like to live here, to help promote peace and hopefully end the new Cold War, or do our part anyway. So we're halfway around now, and we've come to the other side of Red Square. And what is that behind you, young man?
That is the famous Russian church.
Yes, it's their famous church. In English, it's called St. Basil's. In Russian, it's called something else. And I actually went on a date there with your mother before you were alive, before she was my wife. It was our first date in Russia. Well, Christoph, where have you taken us now?
I don't know.
You don't know? I'll tell you. This is the execution block, or so the story goes. Some people think it's just where different leaders would give speeches, but some think it's where heads were chopped off with swords or axes. What do you think?
It's gross.
It is gross, isn't it? So it's not cool?
No.
So perhaps, Christoph, you are the hope for humanity. A boy who thinks this is gross. Behind me there, you can see what the execution block, or place for speakers to stand, looks like from a distance. And our final giant permanent structure that borders Red Square, if you've been on my channel, you know what it is. Christoph, what is this giant structure?
This is a giant mall.
That's right, a giant shopping mall, which used to be where Moscow did all of its trading when it was just a small city surrounding Red Square. So here's the shopping mall next to us as we walk. I'm taking us to the center of Red Square, where they have their temporary exhibit. So that looks like a historic female of some kind. These are temporary buildings. I don't know if you can tell from the camera. They're fake, like Disney World. And we've got different historic dates, and well, I guess we've got different, not historic dates, but information on the equipment that's on display. And I assume at certain times of the day they do little performances here. Did you enjoy your exhaustive tour of Red Square?
Yeah.
Oh wow, the lights just came on for Goom Mall. So have you been to Moscow, Russia before? Have you been to Russia at all? What do you think? Is this a scary place? Is this what you thought it was? Did you know about Red Square before, except for a few seconds of Western news here and there? Does it match what I'm showing you in this video? Oh wow, they're putting on a show in the window of this place. Amazing. It's like a live theater show inside this temporary building. Nice, here's another live show here. So all these buildings are little theaters. It was so rainy, I decided to come back when it is dry. It is now dry here in Red Square. They are already breaking down the display that they had. I've come up on the platform, and just in case you're unfamiliar with Red Square, I wanted you to get to see it without all the water on it and without all the umbrellas. Completely destroying the beautiful stages we just saw. And in case you were wondering, I've gotten a lot of negative comments about my guests lately. People don't like them, and I wanted to be sure and tell you that there's nothing I can do about that. And whether or not I agree with the guests or don't agree with the guest has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not they're on my show. And that doesn't mean that I'm saying I don't agree with my guests or that I do agree with my guests. You will just have to watch carefully and see how I respond and see what I say and decide for yourself, what does Joe really think? Anyway, one more bonus for you on this show. I have a little guest. Watch now, see what he thinks, see what you think I think about him, and go easy on the guy. He is not a professional vlogger. So I'm with a subscriber that I've met for the first time, and I believe he came to Russia to check it out for himself, only from watching the channel.
That is correct. My name is Dave, and he's absolutely right.
Where are you from, Dave?
From Toronto, Canada, just outside of Toronto. It's a little city called Mississauga. Yeah,
Very cool.
First time in Russia.
How does it look? How does it compare to what you saw on the channel?
It looks very similar to what I saw on the channel, and it looks very nice. That's why I came. Unlike what, our media tells us what Russia is like, this is an extremely beautiful place, very clean, very well organized, very refined, very cultured. It's just been a wonderful experience. So thank you, Joe.
Oh, you got it, man. And we are on Arbat Street, which is the most European looking street in Moscow, I think. Well, not the most, but it is one of the more European looking streets. So we have a lot of European looking streets here in this city, and this side of Russia is technically in Europe. You're just vacationing. You're not planning on moving here or anything like that. You're just curious, and you want to be an international man and know about the world and be outside of Western media's grasp.
That's exactly right. I would like to live a month here. I definitely am going to be back. I want to visit St. Petersburg.
That's a must, and that's pretty easy because the train tickets are not expensive, and you can either get there in 4 hours in one afternoon, or you can do a slow train and spend the night on the train.
Oh.
Which is what Sveta and I like to do, because it's less hotel room stays, because you do one night, you sleep the whole time. So you're in Moscow in the evening, you sleep on the train, you wake up, you're in St. Petersburg in the morning.
The challenge has been, my credit card doesn't work here because the sanctions imposed by Canada and the USA.
Right.
So I've had to operate with cash. So that's a challenge that anybody traveling to Russia these days has to go through. A lot of beautiful art galleries and theaters that I haven't toured here. I'd love to do that. This is just in Moscow. I'll definitely be back. So.
Yeah, my first time here was just 3 or 4 days to meet this girl that would end up becoming my girlfriend and my wife.
Oh, really? You guys met in Moscow?
No, I mean, we met a second time in Moscow. We originally met in America.
Right.
But after that, I would come only for a month at a time because it's such a long way away. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard to get here, and you're jet lagged, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
so much to see.
Yeah.
And I think for Moscow, Arbat Street's definitely a must-see. Of course, Red Square is a must-see.
Yeah.
Vednha, which you've already been to, is a must-see. Gorky Park is famous. Tsaritsina, Kolominska, 2 other big parks, which you should check out if you haven't yet.
I will. I'll do that. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Would you like to tell the world anything else?
It's a great place. In my humble opinion, and I've traveled to every European city, London, Paris, Rome, Naples, Milan, Madrid. I'm going to say this. I think this is Europe's nicest city. That's not him influencing me to say that. That's actually my impression after being here for 3 days. The cleanliness, organization, efficiency, the beautiful buildings, the fact that there's so much culture here, theater, art galleries, things, and they're all reasonably priced. You try to do this in Paris, it'll cost you multiple times more, and the food quality is excellent here. And you don't get that in Paris, believe me. Many Americans and Canadians are very disappointed when they go to Paris, and I've been to Paris, and unfortunately it doesn't, it's just an overrated city. So this is really, really underrated, and I'm really glad I came.
I totally agree with you. I went to Western Europe first, obviously, in my life, and so that was my first experience with Europe. And the impression I was given is Europe is old, it's historic, it's ancient, it's nice, but it is dirty, and there's crime, and that's just the way life is. And then later, as an older man, I came here for the first time. I'm like, what? There's a European city, and you don't have to be aware of crime, and it's not dirty, it's actually nice.
You moved here to raise your young children here, right? That's what I learned in one of your videos.
That was one of the benefits. But we had 3 adult kids that were going to be in university, so it would be cheaper to come here. Plus, Sveta was homesick. And it just so happened that the world changed as soon as we moved.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah, it was a complete coincidence. We thought at the time Russia would be a better fit for us, but we weren't like running away from America. Little did we know everything was going to become amplified.
One thing I'll say to your subscribers, I don't think these sanctions are going away. I don't think these divisions are going to be just disappearing. So if you get a chance to come to Russia, take it, and definitely follow this guy's channel. He'll show you a lot of stuff. That's what I did.
You're too kind.
Well, you deserve it.
So, how was that guest, guys? What do you think? Did I agree with him? Did I not agree with him? A good show, a good guest can be someone that I absolutely agree with. And you know what else can be a good show? Someone I don't agree with, and someone you don't agree with. Let's share ideas and learn from each other. Does that sound cheesy? Here is the city walk stretching away from Red Square. All right, Christoph, say goodbye to the audience.
Goodbye.
Guys, goodbye. I hope you enjoyed it. What do you think? Is Red Square what you thought it was? Is Moscow what you thought it was? Is Russia what you thought it was? Click like, subscribe, click the share button right now, interrupt my speech, and send this to your friends. It's really important to let the world know the truth. And click the box to see what happens next. Of course, we had to get something to eat. Yummy, yummy, right, Christoph? In the cold November rain. What are you doing? This way. And we are just going to slowly go around Red Square. No, not slowly. It's a what?
It's a fountain.
A what?
Fountain. Fountain.
No, it's not.
No?
You're completely wrong.
What is that?
Tell the audience goodbye, how I do it.
Bye.
That's not how I do it. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.